Vinay Shinde, Team Pragati Shale, supported by DXC Technology. We all together working as a team towards holistic development of education in rural under corporate CSR initiative. Today's Teachers Day program, we have Prerana program where we are inspiring educators, teachers and society who are associated in the field of education.
Hi, my name is Anand Srivastava and I'm part of DXC Technology. First and foremost, let me take the opportunity to thank all the teachers for what they do for investing in the future minds of India. A very happy Teachers' Day. Education and reskilling is one of the pillars of DXC's CSR activities, besides other initiatives like wellness, disaster relief. I'm very proud to stand here and say that DXC has impacted the life of 50,000 children across 8 cities. 35,000 plus people have been reskilled so that they can have better employment opportunities. DXC is trying to do its bit in the space of CSR with our partners like Trinity Care Foundation and UV Green. Pragati Shale has been one of such initiatives. 13 schools in the district of Muglur in Bangalore have been chosen to be part of Pragati Shale. They have been revamped. Digital classrooms, experiential learning, performing arts, changing the infrastructure at these schools are some of the key things that have been done under the banner of Pragati Shale. Today this program, Prerana, is anchored by Pragati Shale, and I wish the team the very best. At DXC, we believe in investing in the future of tomorrow. So once again, thank you and wish you all teachers a very happy Teachers' Day. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Angelin Jayasidan and I'm part of the Human Resources function at DXC Technology. Corporate social responsibility is a key priority for DXC globally. We have a very committed, active and enthusiastic set of volunteers across all our locations in DXC India. This team, along with strong leadership support, has been able to make a lasting, positive and continuous impact on the society. Our employees were indeed a shining beacon of light and we couldn't be prouder. At any point in time, 10 to 12,000 of our employees are actively engaged in our CSR initiatives. This speaks volumes of our dedication and commitment to the DXC CSR agenda. DXC India recognizes the efforts that Trinity Care Foundation and UV Green are putting in towards grooming a confident and competent student community and also ensuring that they have the right skills to stay relevant in the marketplace. Thanks again to Trinity Care Foundation and UV Green for giving the student community that which no one can take away: education. The work that you are engaged in is truly commendable. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. And on the occasion of Teachers' Day, here's wishing all our teachers a very happy Teachers' Day. Thank you.
Today, we are going to show you inspiring stories from the hidden teachers who are there around our society. Also, we have eminent speaker, motivational speaker, educationalist, and founder and chairman of the Academy for Creative Teaching. Dr. Gururaj Karjagi is with us today. Welcome, sir, for the Prerana program. Dr. Gururaj Karjagi, sir, the Prerana is about inspiring educators, teachers, and the society who are associated in the field of education. My first question to you is, teachers have always been the biggest influencers of students' life. I'm sure you agree with me. In the today's 21st century, how teachers can manage to influence students' life in the scenario of digital virtual era versus traditional way of teaching approaches?
I know, I understand that teachers have a tremendous influence on the students. In fact, I had the privilege of being with Dr. Kalam for a long time. No lecture of Dr. Kalam would be completed without he mentioning his teacher in the primary school in Rameshwaram, Shiva Subramaniam Iyer. He will call Iyer Master. He said, I am something today here, it is because of that teacher. This is the case of Dr. Kalam. There are countless people like this. I always say behind every successful man, in the shadow, there is a teacher who inspired him. If teachers cannot inspire at that age, nobody can inspire. Only two people are responsible for molding the child at that formative age. One is a teacher, other is the parent. In fact, teacher becomes a surrogate parent. As you rightly call the program Prerana, teacher has been a source of Prerana for many, many students. You asked a question about in these times, the pandemic, in virtual world, what can the teacher do? I learned that the pandemic is not going to be there for a long time. This is a transition time, is a passing cloud. Whether it is online or offline, teacher is a source of inspiration. I know children are bundled in the house now. They are supposed to be mixing with their friends in the school and enjoy the learning. They are not able to. But do you know, these online classes that are going on, children wait for it. Not for the content per se. I understand, I don't ignore the importance of the content, but they are more keen on seeing the face of a teacher and see the friends' faces like stamps on the screen there. That is the kind of socialization they can have. But I know very well, even in this virtual world, teachers have been inspiring students. The kind of preparation teachers are making, I'd use the word sacrifice. The sacrificing loss of their personal time to prepare their content and send it. Children are aware of it. I always believed, sir, that these values are not taught. Values are not lectured about. Values are only demonstrated. There is a chance for the teachers to demonstrate. There are countless examples where teachers have gone to the places where children are staying. I know in some areas in North Karnataka, children sit in the open platform there, keeping physical distance. Teacher goes and stands before them and talks to them about the subject. After this teacher goes away, another teacher comes and stands there in the sun and teaches them. It is not a vain effort. Students would acknowledge and remember the kind of work the teachers have done for them. Another important thing I would always say is, footfalls of values are always identified in the hindsight. That I was in a school that my teacher got angry with me, slapped me on my face. I felt so insulted on that day. I felt very bad. I did not want to talk to my teacher. But 20 years later, I realized that was the turning point of my life. That 20 years was required to realize that that was the turning point. Similarly, the footfalls of values are identified later. The effort the teachers are making now to go to the student and teach him, content will be evaporated, content will not remain. But the very fact teacher made an effort to go to their place and teach will be recorded in the mind, and child will realize the value of it 10 years or 15 years later. This is going to make a large impact on the children.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Determination, hard work, commitment is important for any teachers. Today we are going to introduce such two teachers for their inspiring stories. Let's look into it.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ನವೀನ್ ಬಿಆರ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ನಾನು ಮೂಲತಃ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕ. ನಾನು ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಹಿರಿಯ ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ಶಾಲೆ ಲೋಕವಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಸುಮಾರು 7 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕನಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ನಾನು ಪ್ರಭಾರ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕನಾಗಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾನು 2013ರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಬಂದಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಒಂದು ದಾಖಲಾತಿ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಇಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ದಾಖಲಾತಿಯನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಪಕ್ಕದ ಒಂದು ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಈ ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಮನವೊಲಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯ ಒಂದು ಭದ್ರ ಬುನಾದಿ. ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಅವನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಒಂದು ವಿದ್ಯಾಭ್ಯಾಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ವಿಷಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ತುಂಬ ಆಳವಾಗಿ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೂರಕವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಭದ್ರವಾದ ಬುನಾದಿ ಹಾಕಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಇಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರಂತರತೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕಲಿತಿದ್ದನ್ನು ಮರೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಮುಂದಿನ ಒಂದು ವಿದ್ಯಾಭ್ಯಾಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಅವರ ಭವಿಷ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈಗಲಿಂದಲೇ ಒಂದು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಒಂದು ಶ್ರಮವನ್ನು ವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಮಗುವಿಗೆ ತಲುಪಿಸುವುದರ ಮೂಲಕ ಅವರು ಉನ್ನತ ವಿದ್ಯಾಭ್ಯಾಸ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶವನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಮುಂದುವರಿತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಮಗುವಿನ ಮನಗಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಮುಟ್ಟಿಸಿ ನಾವು ಅವರ ಭವಿಷ್ಯವನ್ನು ರೂಪಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ನಾವು ಸಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮೂಡಿಗೆರೆ ಮಲೆನಾಡಿನ ತಾಲೂಕು. ಇದು ಮಲೆನಾಡಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಳೆ ಬೀಳೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಈ ಕೆರೆ ಕೊಳ್ಳಗಳನ್ನು ದಾಟಿ ಹಳ್ಳಗಳನ್ನು ದಾಟಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ವಿದ್ಯಾಗಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಮನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಭೇಟಿ ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಮನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಕಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರಂತರತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡಗಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಜಾಗಗಳಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಮನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಭೇಟಿ ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಕಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡಗಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕನಸು, ವಿದ್ಯಾಗಮ ಯೋಜನೆ. ಕೋವಿಡ್-19 ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಲಾಖೆ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಚಿವರ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಒಂದು ಕನಸು ವಿದ್ಯಾಗಮ ಯೋಜನೆ. ವಿದ್ಯಾಗಮ ಯೋಜನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಗುಂಪುಗಳನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಒಂದು ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೆಟ್ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಕ್ಕಳುಗಳ ಒಂದು ಫೋನ್ ನಂಬರ್ಗಳು ಒಂದು ಗುಂಪು, ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೇವಲ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಕ್ಕಳುಗಳ ಒಂದು ಫೋನ್ ನಂಬರ್ಗಳು ಒಂದು ಗುಂಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಬ್ರಿಲಿಯಂಟ್, ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆಂಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಜೀನಿಯಸ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೀಗೆ 3 ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅಥವಾ ಜೀನಿಯಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಫೋನ್ ನಂಬರೇ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾವು ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿ ಅವುಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಬ್ರಿಲಿಯಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ನಂಬರ್ಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ಹಾಗೂ ಮನೆ ಭೇಟಿ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾವು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿ ಕಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರಂತರತೆಯನ್ನು ಕಾಯ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಜೀನಿಯಸ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲದ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಮನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಭೇಟಿ ನೀಡಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನವನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರ ಸಹಾಯದಿಂದ ನಾವು ಇಡೀ ಜನವಸತಿ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ ತುಂಬಾ ದೂರದ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟೇಶನ್ ಏರಿಯಾಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ದುರ್ಗಮ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗೂ ತೋಟಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈನ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ತಲುಪಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕವಾದ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಕಾತ್ಯಾಯಿನಿ ಅನಿಲ್ ಕುಮಾರ್. ನಾನು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು 2/11/1964 ಚಿಲಕುಂದ ಗ್ರಾಮ, ಹುಣಸೂರು ತಾಲೂಕು, ಮೈಸೂರು ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯ. ನಾನು ಹುಟ್ಟಿನಿಂದಲೂ ಅಂಧಳಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಸಾಧನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲು ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಯವರ ಪ್ರೇರಣೆಯಿಂದ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಂತರ ಡೆಹ್ರಾಡೂನಿನಲ್ಲಿ NIVH ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗನ್ನು DED ಪಡೆದುಕೊಂಡೆ. MA ಇನ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ B.Edನ ಮಾನಸ ಗಂಗೋತ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಂಡೆ. ರಮಣ ಮಹರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ತರಬೇತಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಸಂಗೀತವನ್ನು ನಾನು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸಿದ್ದೆ. ನಾನು ಸುಮಾರು 28 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಕಾಲ ನನ್ನ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಆ ಸೇವೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 3 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಕಾಲ ಶ್ರೀ ರಮಣ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಮೈಸೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ 2 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಕಾಲ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಂತರ ಸುಮಾರು 22 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಯ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನನಗೆ ಅಡೆತಡೆಗಳು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು. ಓದುವಾಗ, ಆಟ ಆಡುವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳಂತೆಯೇ ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ನೋವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಅನುಭವಿಸಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಂಬಂಧಿಕರಲ್ಲಾಗಿರಬಹುದು, ಹೀಗೆ. ಆದರೆ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಛಲವನ್ನು ಬಿಡದೆ ನನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಯ ಪ್ರೇರಣೆಯಂತೆ, ಗುರುಗಳ ಪ್ರೇರಣೆಯಂತೆ ನಾನು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು ಎಂದು ನಾನು ನಿರ್ಧರಿಸಿ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ನನ್ನ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ನಾನು ಅನುಭವಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಹೀಗೆಯೇ ನಾನು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ದಾರಿದೀಪವಾಗಿ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದ ತೊಡಕುಗಳನ್ನು ಹೋಗಲಾಡಿಸಲು ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಪೋಷಕರನ್ನು ಕರೆಸಿ ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳೊಂದಿಗೆ ಮಾತನಾಡಿ ಅವರ ನೋವುಗಳನ್ನು ಹಂಚಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಂಧ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಯಾರಿಗೂ ನಾವು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಮುಂದೆ ಬರಬೇಕು, ನಮ್ಮ ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಎಂದು ಅವರನ್ನು ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಿಸಿ ಅವರ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅವರು ಕ್ವಿಝಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಚೆಸ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಅವರ ಆಶಾಭಾಷಣ ಸ್ಪರ್ಧೆಯಲ್ಲಿರಬಹುದು, ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರತಿಭಾ ಕಾರಂಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅನೇಕ ಸ್ಪರ್ಧೆಗಳು ನಡೆಸುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆಗೇನೆ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ವೇದಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಅವರು ಅಲಂಕರಿಸುವಂತೆ ನಾನು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಿಸಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾಟಕ, ನೃತ್ಯ, ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಯಾವುದಲ್ಲೂ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ನೊಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬಾರದು ಎಂದು ಕೋಲಾಟ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿಗಳು ಅವರ ದಿನಚರಿಯ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಣೆಯನ್ನು ನಾನು ಅವರ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ನಡೆಸುವಂತೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಿಸಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ನನ್ನ ಆಸೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಎಂದರೆ ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಸುಮಾರು ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಕಲಿತಂಥ ಮಕ್ಕಳು 1,500ದಿಂದ 2,000ವರೆಗೂ ಕಲಿತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅನೇಕರು PhDಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಡಿಗ್ರಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಉದ್ಯೋಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಯಿಂದ ಪಡೆದಂಥ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ 100% ಬರಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸನ್ನು ತರಬೇತಿಗಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಅವರನ್ನು ಉತ್ತೇಜನವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ನನ್ನ ಆಸೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅವರೇ ಆದಂಥ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಬೇಕು, ಅವರ ಕಲ್ಪನೆಯಂತೆ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಆಸೆಯನ್ನು ತೀರಿಸಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲೂ ಹಾಗೂ ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಲ್ಲೂ ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಪೋಷಕರಲ್ಲೂ ನಾನು ಕಳಕಳಿಯಿಂದ ಕೇಳಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದೇನೆಂದರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಕ್ಕಲಿ, ಅವರು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅವರ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ತಮ್ಮದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ರೂಪಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿ, ದಾರಿದೀಪವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನನ್ನೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರವನ್ನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾ ನಾನು ವಂದಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ.
What is your key message to the teachers about self-motivation to realize the teachers are important part of human capital development when crores of students depends on lakhs of teachers?
That's very well said. I have a different perception about government school teachers. They are extraordinary. You know, I have seen the best teachers in government schools. Those who have got the highest marks in B.Ed and have passed through the CET, they are selected. The highly talented teachers are put in the government schools, but they are really battling against many odds. I always give my hats off to people who do remarkable job under tremendous odds. Everything given to you, granted to you so nice, and you in a cozy atmosphere, doing something good is good, but not so exceptional. Everything is given to you. But these teachers are battling against tremendous odds, very poor infrastructure, and then motivation for the children, because most of them come from lower strata of life. They have go to the field and the parents say, why do you go to the school? Go and work there. In spite of those challenging times, there have been extraordinary teachers who spend their life in motivating them. And we should also remember 80% of our students are in government schools. A large number of teachers are responsible for the growth of these children. I always tell the government school teachers, we have a greater responsibility and you have a key role. You see the outstanding people in India today and previous years, most of these leaders came from government schools. Government schools. I can give the example of K.R. Narayanan from Kerala, comes from the absolutely poor family. He became IFS and ambassador to United States and became the president of India. Dr. Kalam, all of them came from, Dr. Manmohan Singh came from government schools and small villages. I always ask a question, what is the difference between an average teacher and an exceptional teacher in government schools? I have found one solution, one answer to my own question. Those teachers who loved themselves and loved their students as much as their own children have become extraordinarily successful. Those who took it as a job, 9 to 5 job, and finished my portion and go away are forgotten. I did a small exercise, I should tell you. with the government school teachers. I told many students who passed out of government schools, write down the names of all the teachers who taught you. Can you believe? They remember 10, 15 teachers as against 100 from whom they learnt. I asked what happened to the remaining ones? We forgot, sir. Please remember, a large number of faces of teachers are lost in the hazy cloud of memory. They are not there. Few are remembered for various reasons, but only one or two are preserved in the heart, and we always say, if I am something today, it is because of that teacher. I asked the teachers the question, what kind of teacher you want to be? You want to be a teacher who is forgotten, not concerned, or you want to be a teacher who made a difference to the child's life? And they are capable of doing it. But I am telling you, they are capable, but they have to put in extraordinary efforts to do that. How does this effort come? Sometimes teachers tell me you are blackmailing us. I don't know whether blackmailing or whitemailing, I'll do that. I tell them, as long as you treat the child in your class as your own child, you will be a great teacher. Otherwise, how do I make a statement? Don't you think we make a statement, oh, that boy is dull, I taught him for the whole year, he did not understand. I will turn the question around and ask the teacher, you say that you taught for the whole year and he did not understand. I ask from the student's point of view, how did you teach for the whole year that he can't understand? Therefore, something wrong with the teaching. I tell them, passionately love your subject, love your profession, and love your students. If they do it, they can do remarkable things in this beautiful country of ours, because you handle the largest number of people. You will be held in very high esteem by everybody if you are doing what you are expected to do. Last word. I go one step further. If you do what you are expected to do, nothing great about it. I go to a shop, I pay 100 rupees and get a material. I am not grateful to him because I paid money for it. But while coming back, I forget my mobile there and come. That boy comes running behind me, sir, you left your mobile there, take it. I am grateful to him because he is doing more than he is expected to do. So therefore, I always request the government school teachers, don't do what is expected of you. Go beyond that and do beyond what is expected. You will earn the respect and reputation of all the students.
Right. Very nice, sir, and very motivating message to all the government school teachers. Today, we are introducing two such corporate volunteers from a DXC and retired army officer from Delhi of their inspiring stories, how they are associated to education to help others, and also how they are making a difference along with their professional career. Let's take a look into it.
Hi, my name is Guru Raj. I work for an IT company, DXC Technology, as a cybersecurity engineer. I'm so passionate about education field. So in the year 2006, I had an opportunity to interact with Dr. Gururaj Karjagi, who is currently a chairman of Academy for Creative Teaching. I was inspired by his words, where he is doing lots of contribution to the education sector. So that day I decided that I should also do at least 1% of his activities in the field of education. From that day I started focusing parallelly both IT and education sector. I'm very much happy because wherever I have worked as an employee, I have been involved with CSR activities. One such program which I did in DXC Technology was on coding challenge, where we invited students to participate in coding challenge. Both government school children and private school children, including international school children, participated in this program. I remember almost 250 students participated in this program, and we choose 4 teams as a winner, and among those 4 teams, one team was from government school. So I think volunteering gives an opportunity for all of us, right? Especially those organizations who have CSR programs. I request all those who are listening to me or watching me in this video to take up CSR activities as one of their career goal. I can say in the month of June I started a program called Leaders in Education forum, where I have invited a couple of speakers to give their views in the field of education. One such program I did was on career counseling, and one more program I did on career opportunities in Indian Defence Forces. If you work with the government schools and upskill them or train them on usage of technology or provide them right infrastructure where they can also participate like any other students in the school or colleges. So basically volunteering have lots of opportunities to upscale your own personality also. Like it will give opportunity for to develop your leadership skills, social competencies, and also to know the challenges that is being faced by the community. And also I am trying to train the teachers in learning the technology where they can use this technology in the classroom teaching. So this can help the teachers a lot to have a very good classroom teaching sessions. So at one note which I want to end my line, let us become creators rather than becoming consumers of the technology. So this is one tagline can transform entire world and entire country also. So let's train our children on writing software packages or programming on particular language and upskill them. And once they go out of the school days and college days, so they should also be having some basic knowledge on programming, so they can choose career in programming or whatever choices they wanted to make, so they can make based on their career options. Once again, I wish you all the best on this auspicious day, I can say, because September 5th is Teachers' Day. It's a day to remember all the teachers on this day, and also it's a day to remember Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, who has immensely contributed to the field of education. And it's good that UV Green has come up with this idea to identify the volunteers, to identify the people who have contributed in the field of education. I am grateful to them. I wish them a very good luck for the future educational programs. Once again, I thank you all of you. Good day.
Hello all, this is C.K. Manjunatha here. I am from a small village called Lakavalli near Bhadravati. To help my village people, I was thinking how to support. As soon as I started working, I was discussing with many of my friends to see who has similar frequency of mindset. So we were somehow got 10 to 15 people. We sat together, we decided to start supporting an organization. We started an organization by name called Niswartha. Niswartha means in Sanskrit selflessness. So the main three key factors of Niswartha is Niswartha works on zero administrative cost, spirit of merit, and mentorship. The mentorship means here we all provide about 2 mentors for one student to support his difficulties during his studies. We provide all kinds of educational supports required to him to come in his life. We were initially putting our percentage of salary to Niswartha Foundation to support all these students initially. However, after discussing and informing to each others and individuals and to the corporates, everyone started trying to support, because many of them also undergone similar kind of support problems during their career. As of now, we have more than 1,000 students in Niswartha studying in different categories of education, and these things are basically a turning point to them and to their life as they come up. The final vision of Niswartha Foundation is to have Niswartha University at one or the other day, maybe at 10 years or 15 years from now. What we want to have and support in the Niswartha University is totally to the economically poor of poor and from village category we wanted to support. Here, to be clear with you, many are single parents or may not be with parents or maybe with dependents or with other uncle or aunts, they will be supporting these students. And also, to make it very clear, 62% of the Niswartha students are female and remaining all are boys.
Namaskar, I'm Commander Biju Podwal and I'm presently teaching in Government High School, Imadihalli. I was born in Mumbai, Maharashtra in 1972 and did my entire schooling in Pune, Maharashtra. After my 12th, I joined the Indian Navy as a cadet and went on to do my BTech from Naval College of Engineering, INS Shivaji, Lonavala, and my MTech from IIT Delhi. Since childhood, contributing to nation building and serving the nation was always my primary desire. That is one of the reasons why I joined the Indian Armed Forces and served 27 glorious years in the Indian Navy, one of the finest services of the Indian Armed Forces. I decided to contribute to the education sector and join Government High School Imadihalli as a teacher, primarily to educate children for whom even access to primary resources is always a challenge, and joined for teaching, ensuring that the children attend regularly and educating the parents. The importance of education was my primary challenge. Once COVID-19 happened, the challenges just multiplied. And then deciding new innovative techniques to teach, ensure that the children, apart from the education part, whether they have access to even basic resources like ration, tying up with other organizations, ensuring that stakeholders come together in these difficult times were big challenges. But having served in the Indian Armed Forces, qualities such as integrity, honesty, and the die-hard attitude of serving with utmost hard work was groomed in me, and that is what I have tried to inculcate in the children, in my stakeholders and my colleagues. Even during these difficult times of COVID, I have always tried to liaise and coordinate with various agencies so that the primary requirement of children is met. We have been quite successful in handing over some tabs to children who had no access to technology. Fortunately, now some of the children are able to access online classes. Apart from that, regular counseling of the parents, giving them educational insights into why the children should get educated, etc., especially in these times of COVID, have reaped great benefits. Some children have also undergone student leadership workshops for grooming them for future. These are some of the steps we have taken to ensure that the children remain active whilst being safe, because I firmly believe that all children should get education. They should have access to basic primary education and secondary education, irrespective of the society, the economic strata or the social strata from which they come. Once they are given the education, then we would have succeeded in making it an equal opportunity for all. So my message to one and all concerned is, let us try to contribute and ensure that all children have access to education and good health. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Sir, we just saw the corporate volunteers and the retired officer, how passionately they are serving the field of education with the small intention of helping others and just to make a difference in spite of their professional commitment. My next question to you is, spirit of volunteerism is important for nation building activities. How volunteering together can enable the change, builds the hopes and improves the lives of communities?
This concept of volunteerism is a magnificent one. It tells you that you are willing to sacrifice a part of your life for somebody other than you. The concept of volunteerism is that I am doing it because I love to do it. I am not forced to do it. I enjoy doing it. If you are a volunteer, you can't put conditions. I want to do this. If you don't give me, I will not be a volunteer. That is business. That is not volunteerism. I should share a small thing. I was with Mother Teresa. I lived with her for 3 days in Calcutta in 1971. I went there as a volunteer for 3 days. Something unexpected happened. A lady died there. Mother asked me, can you go and do rituals for this lady? Believe me, it was 1971. I was just about 19, 20-year-old boy. First time I seeing death there. And I came from a very traditional family that when your parents are alive, you can't go to crematorium. But mother is asking me not to go to crematorium, but to do all the rites that a son should do to the mother. For a moment I said I will not do it. But then I remembered I have gone there as what? I have gone as a volunteer. Volunteers have no choice, no choice. I agreed, I did it. I finished all the rituals and came back and sat on the sofa. Mother sat next to me. Are you worried, son? She asked me. I said, yes, because I am coming from a traditional family. I have not taken my parents' permission. What will happen? She said, don't worry. You have done a great job. Parents will live longer than they would have normally lived. That happened. Secondly, she told me, son, when you talk of a volunteer, you are doing on your own, not under anybody's compulsion. Therefore, you do with double energy. If you are a paid employee, you do X work. As a volunteer, you do 2X or 3X. Because they are excited to do. You are not under anybody's compulsion, your heart dictates. I always believed this. When your brain drives you, you can go 1X and 2X. When your heart pushes you, you go 4X and 5X. Therefore, if you can go with that zeal, you can make a difference to people. I always believed that being different is not important. Everybody walks on their feet, I go upside down, walk on my legs. I am different, but it makes no sense. Being different is not important. To make a difference is important. As a volunteer, if I go, I have an advantage. I come from a different field into education. I bring a new perspective into it. If I am in education for a long time, my eyes are blotted, completely closed. I look in only one direction. But a volunteer brings a new dimension to it. That is the strength of a volunteer. And he does it willingly, cooperates with them, understands what is happening here, and then with his experience in some other field, as you said, corporate volunteers, fantastic. Their style of management is totally different from the school environment. The corporate has more accountability, more planning, which is missing in education sector. They can bring that. And presence of a volunteer enriches the working style of schools and colleges and also enriches the whole structure itself. I would always welcome the volunteerism in schools and colleges, especially people coming from different sections. I myself taken quite a few IIT boys and girls into school teaching. Initially teachers were reluctant. What will they understand, sir? They talk big and we don't understand. I said, doesn't matter, you don't understand. But the children were absolutely happy with these volunteers because they found a new approach, new way of teaching. And teachers and slowly understood that and they also became a part of it. I really compliment this idea of using volunteers in education. It brings, I would say it's called a beautiful interaction between two different fields synthesized into a new model. This will be a lovely model to follow. In fact, when you work in a job, you retire after some time. Some people don't get retired. Age is a chronological factor. For some people, they become younger with age. There is so much enthusiasm, so much of willingness to participate and tremendous knowledge base that they can use it. Especially when retired people come into volunteer work, it adds a new dimension. Two reasons. One is looking at the enthusiasm of an elder person, the youngsters also get enthusiastic. They also learn, if he can do it, why not me? And advantage with that person, senior person, is he can take them like their own children. Come on, we'll do it together. And if somebody is coming from defense services, extraordinary, like the film we saw, amazing. You worked at the borders, fighting with people there, now you understand how it works within the system. With that experience of discipline of army and commitment to cause, if they can bring into education, that will be doubly beneficial for education as well, and also stimulate and increase the self-esteem and energy of the teachers working under these retired volunteers.
I'm sure I think a lot of volunteers would join hands
Yes.
in the coming year.
Yeah.
for the nation building activity.
Yes.
A very inspiring answer from you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Today we are introducing two such passionate teachers, how they are associated in the field of performing arts, music, dance and the theatre. Let's hear their stories.
ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಸ್ ರಾಧಾಕೃಷ್ಣನ್ ಭಾರತದ ರತ್ನವು ನೀವು. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಸ್ ರಾಧಾಕೃಷ್ಣನ್ ಗುರುಗಳು ಸ್ಮರಿಸುವ ದಿನವು ನಿಮ್ಮದು. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೀತಾ ಬೆಳಗಿ, ಲೆಕ್ಚರರ್ ಇನ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ಸ್, head of the department, BLPO College, Bengaluru. I am an educator. I see my passion in different fields. First of all, I am a Bharatanatyam classical dancer. I choreograph classical and folklore dances, choreograph ethnical fashion shows. I also compose music, write lyrics for different plays, theatre works, dramas. Because of my extracurricular activities, I get along and connect with the students. I see its impact in my academic too. Since last 22 years, I am seeing 100% result in my subject. As I work with the young minds, I need to be trendy, yet I connect with the culture and nature. My recent composition, a song to save the environment, Manigondu Mara, Urigondu Vana. This song was launched by Karnataka Forest Department on World Environmental Day. I feel it has made a great impact among all the age groups.
ಮನೆಗೊಂದು ಮರ ಊರಿಗೊಂದು ವನ, ಮನೆಗೊಂದು ಮರ ಊರಿಗೊಂದು ವನ, ಉಳಿಸಿ ಬೆಳೆಸೋಣ. ಮನೆಗೊಂದು ಮರ ಊರಿಗೊಂದು ವನ, ಉಳಿಸಿ ಬೆಳೆಸೋಣ.
We can educate new younger generation more effectively through music, art and theatre works. Some of my compositions, songs for the drama Shahu Maharaj, Albert Einstein, the great innovator, and songs on great icons including Namma Karnataka, Nadaprabhu Kempegowda.
ನಾಡಪ್ರಭು ಕೆಂಪೇಗೌಡ, ಕನ್ನಡ ನಾಡ ಕೆಂಪೇಗೌಡ.
One of my motto is also to uplift the weavers of Karnataka, the art of weaving. I have done many ethnic fashion shows along with the students all over the Karnataka. Some of my music and dance choreographies are on women empowerment. I believe in Beti Padhao, Betiyon ko Veer Banao. I strongly believe that culture in education plays very important role in connecting family, society, nation and in turn brings peace and harmony in the world.
ಈಶ್ವರನ ಬುದ್ಧ ಬಸವ ಯೇಸು ಗುರು ವಂದನ.
Hey guys, I'm Bharat here. I'm a dancer, choreographer, writer, motivational speaker, educator. Presently working in Oak Ridge International School, North Anglia Education, Bangalore as an educator and dance facilitator. I've been working here from past 5 years now. Jackson is my pet name which I got from school days, where I only used to perform Michael Jackson's dance form. Being a non-trained dancer, having the CDs of MJ sir, watching his videos and going and performing in school events, college events where this name Jackson got tagged along with my name Bharat. So I'm also a founder of a foundation called Every Soul Deserves to Smile. Every Soul Deserves to Smile also has an objective, as the name says, to bring smiles on people's face, especially brighter smile on people's face, irrespective of who they are, where they come from, and where they belong, doesn't matter. This creates I want to create an awareness with this platform that we all come from different backgrounds, we're different class. With the cliche word we use, class, saying that upper class, lower class and middle class and stuff. We all come from different classes. So irrespective of that, we all have to see people as people, like human as human. So your respect to somebody shouldn't depend on what class he belongs to, or like, you know, what does he wear, or like, you know, where does he work, or what is his profession is. All these things should not matter at all when it comes to you treating a human with love and compassion, because humanity plays a major role here. So for this younger generation, I think this is more needed to learn more about love and compassion in humanity. So this platform is to create an awareness. The main motto of this is to provide education, not only in academics, again, education in terms of dance, music, theatre and visual arts, where even these children from rural areas, especially the underprivileged from government schools or orphanages or slums, should be equally privileged enough to have the platform to learn all these art forms or visual arts and stuff, just like the kids in private schools. Some of the success stories with this platform is we were able to change the lives of more than 350 more than 350 visually impaired students, helping them to write their exams, making a career for them. And apart from that, in this pandemic, we were able to raise funds for more than 350 plus families, more than 400 families for that matter, in terms of the daily needs like groceries and stuff. A special thanks to my friends, my family, and all the other volunteers who came forward to make this happen, joining hands. Kudos to you guys. And I also do this thing of capturing people's smiles on streets. So I do go on streets and meet random people, especially people who are selling candy coconuts, security guards, selling Mosambik juice on streets, or anybody for that matter who's been pushed away from society as a lower class, not given equal respect as others receive who are well privileged with money and luxury. So I do meet these people, listen to them, listen to their vision, their goals. If I can help them nurture those, I will surely do that. If not, still have a conversation with them, motivate them, take pictures of them smiling, come back home, frame it, go back, gift them, surprise them, capture that moment, because making somebody smile is the most successful thing a human can do, and everybody can do this. I have a bigger vision with this, maybe to adopt a slum or a complete village and change that place into a complete magical space for them, where that inspires a lot of them. So yeah, my biggest inspiration is myself, and blessings and prayers from my parents. Yes. So kudos to everybody who's been following their passion and dreams, especially different foundations working on different objectives for the betterment of society, especially the underprivileged. A big respect for you guys, huge respect for you guys. Kudos to you guys.
Dr. Gururaj Karjagi sir, teachers are responsible beyond academics. So we just saw the video, how passionately the two teachers are contributing in the field of performing arts, music, dance and theatre. My question to you is, though performing arts education is integral part of the education system, even you know that it's been given a more prominence in the national education policy, but still I could feel there's a lack of momentum in the overall education ecosystem. So I just wanted your message to the many institutions, how this issue can be addressed in the coming days.
There is a very famous Subhashita which says, Sahitya Sangeeta Kala Vihinaha Sakshat Pashuhu Puchha Vishanahinaha. Anyone who does not get interested in Sahitya, Sangeeta and literature is like an animal without a tail. That's all. That means what distinguishes between a human being and an animal is the sense of appreciation of literature, music and fine arts. If that is not developed, we are not developing human qualities. I always believed that the highest sentiments of human heart find expression in music and fine arts. Therefore, how do I develop that? It has to be done in the school level itself. And as we saw, the music teachers have done a great job. I tell you, I have seen one of the finest brains that India has ever produced, Dr. Raja Ramanna, nuclear physicist of extraordinary order. He was my PhD guide. He was an extraordinary piano player. He would play every day, 1 hour piano. He performed in Shadmugananda Hall in Mumbai. 3-hour performance he gave. And before performance, he stood up and spoke only one sentence: don't assess me as a nuclear scientist who also plays piano, but assess me as a piano player. People stood up and clapped him at the end. And one lady asked him, "Sir, you are a nuclear physicist. Why did you study music?" The answer he gave will be the answer to your question. He says, "Whenever I am tired of physics, music stimulates me." That is the answer Einstein also gave. When I am tired, I play violin. Therefore, these are the hobbies. Two parts you can look at it. Music can be hobby which can fill substance into your life. When your life becomes a dreary desert sand because of the beaten life, music can come as a stimulant, or it can become a vocation for yourself. I have seen outstanding performers all over the world. Pandit Bismillah Khan, I sat with him, before him, Pandit Basuraj Rajguru, Mallikarjun Mansoor, outstanding people, Bhimsen Joshi, they are greatest people at that time. Look at them, the kind of transformation they brought in themselves and in others. If you want to refine the heart of children, train them that there is something beyond academics. Yes, academics is required, no problem. But beyond academics, if you want to make the life more sublime and more subtle and more sensitive, these things are to be taught in classrooms. We have to make a conscious effort. Of course, the new education policy has been saying that it is a part of this now. There is no thing called as co-curricular and all. It becomes a curricular program itself. But that is not by itself enough. I would request music teachers or teachers who teach music, they may not be qualified people. I have seen in villages extraordinary singers, they don't have MA music, but they can come into the class and teach. I should tell you, the new education policy which has been given out, it encourages that. Supposing there is an old lady who can sing the folk songs so well, she can be brought into the school and the children can learn from her. Is a positive step. My request to people is this: don't prepare people only with brains. People should, with heart should come up. When the heart is very active, you build people who join people together. If you are developing people only with brains, most of the time we separate people from one another. If you want to separate people, stimulate brain. If you want to join people together, stimulate heart.
Yeah.
And music does it effortlessly and beautifully.
Yeah, and I think with your commendable answer, I'm sure, I think this message reaches to most of the teachers so that they can create a great environment around the education system, especially on the non-academic perspective. I believe in a principle of learning to know, learning to do, learning to live, and learning to be. So my last question going to be, Dr. Sir, to you is, yourself you are a teacher, you are a motivational speaker, and also you are leading the creative teaching of academy, and you published many research papers, and you traveled around the globe. So what is your key message to all the educators, teachers, and the professionals and the entrepreneurs who are looking a vision of building the nation in association with the education?
I should tell you a lovely incident. It happened somewhere around 1964-65. Whole America was agog with the concept of putting man on moon. In 1961, John Kennedy made a statement that by the end of the decade we'll put man on moon. Whole NASA was geared up to do that. Buzzing activity all over. In Florida, NASA center, few foreigners went to see the center. As they were walking in the corridor, they saw a person standing there. They asked him, "What do you do? What do you do?" The man straightened and said, "I am putting the man on moon. I am putting a man on moon." They found that he is a toilet cleaner. He may be incidentally cleaning the toilet, but he is also part of the mission to put man on moon. This is the beauty. He was as much excited as the director of NASA. If the director of NASA was thinking 24 hours a day about putting a man on moon, the toilet cleaner was also doing the same thing. I always ask the teachers, "What do you do?" They say, "I am teaching social science, sir. I am teaching mathematics. I teach English." I said, "That is incidental. Incidental. You are not teaching subjects. Through the vehicle of that subject, you are building the nation. You are doing a nation building activity." I always tell them, if you want to have a sensible and a good Prime Minister 50 years from now, you must teach properly now. If you want to have a good chief minister, I should teach properly. Otherwise, you won't have a useless prime minister, useless chief minister. If you get a bad one, we are responsible, we produce that quality. Is it not right? I should take the ownership. The future belongs to me. I want the teachers and people involved in education to believe one simple fact. Teaching is the only job which constantly interacts with the future. It doesn't interact with the past. I have got children sitting before me, they don't come with any writing on their forehead. What will they become? They will become the prime minister, they become the army chief, he become a top class scientist, a doctor, engineer, he can become anything, or could be a great cheat. It depends on how I nurture him. Therefore, I take ownership of the future. Every profession can talk about the past. Archives and libraries preserve the past. They may stimulate me for the future. Technology may work about what happens today and design for the plan for the future. But the future generation is coming out of today's classrooms. Therefore, Kothari said long back, the future of the country decided in the four walls of the classrooms. Very, very appropriately said. Who is going to make the future of India, future of the world? Is going to be the teacher. If I can proclaim, stand up, stay and with pride in my heart, look, I am just a teacher. I am nation builder. I am teaching all right, but I am also a nation builder. I will conclude my answer with a lovely incident and anecdote. There was a very famous Jewish saint called Bonham. They call Rabbi Bonham. He had thousands of followers. He became old. One day all his disciples went up to him and said, Master, can you give us some good message, a parting message? He smiled and said, no, I can't give you now. I will give the message after I am dead. They were surprised. How can Master give the message after he is dead? They can't question the Master. After a few days, Bonham died. Disciples were feeling bad. They went up to the place where his body was kept. It was lying in state. They found the Bonham's both the hands were clenched, fists were clenched and hands were like this. They looked around, there was no message, but Master had promised a message. One gentleman went and opened the left fist. Is there a message there? Yeah, there was a small piece of paper on which it was written very clearly, I am nothing but earth. I am nothing but earth. They said, what a message. We knew Master has been talking. This body came from earth and will finally go back to earth. What is so special about it? Another fellow opened the right fist and there was also a piece of paper on which it was written, the whole earth is made for my sake. They found it is an absolute contradiction. On one side he says, I am nothing but earth. On the other side he says, whole earth is made for my sake. They could not understand the contradiction. One fellow joined the two papers and turned it back and the message was clear there. He said, one in my left is a reality. The one in my left is a reality. The one in my right is a potentiality. It is true that I am nothing but earth, I go back to earth, all right. But given the logic and reason, I can comprehend the whole universe. I can live as if the whole universe is meant for my sake. And then he wrote one sentence there, life is a journey of realizing all those potentials. And that is achieved through the medium of education. Achieved through medium of education. Education to me is not certification. Is not certification. I get BA degree, I am literate, but I am not educated. If I can get culture, I can get values, I can get patriotism, along with the knowledge I have, I can become an educated person. So therefore, the job of people involved in education, whether the volunteers or entrepreneurs, corporate people, retired people coming into this field, music teachers, art teachers, dance teachers, all our effort is to convert that little boy into an extraordinary gentleman, lady of great merit and great values. If I can produce that. Normally don't we do that when you go for a travel? What is the outcome? I want to reach this place. I go to the hotel, I want to eat this. There is always an objective for doing it. The objective of education is not certification. It is to produce a top class cultured person about whom the country can be proud of. We shall all be part of it.
Dr. Gururaj Karjagi sir, very inspiring answer, especially on the occasion of Teachers' Day, Prerana. You have given a lot of inspiration and vision to all the teachers, volunteers, and many of the retired officers. And thank you so much, sir, for being part of the Prerana program.
I am honored that I have a chance of talking to teachers on the Teachers' Day. Thank you so much.
Team Pragati Shale believes in learning makes young, teaching makes vibrant. Thanks to all the viewers of today evening program Prerana on the occasion of Teachers' Day. Thanks to corporate DXC and the leadership team supported Prerana today evening. Thanks to all the teachers, their stories inspire to many educators, teachers and the society so that they can associate passionately in the field of education. Thanks to everyone and good evening.